Hello, everybody. We are going to go over the lesson somewhere to travel. So we're going to be talking about travel, places that we want to travel in this lesson, and also, certain tourist attractions that we could see. So yes, it's a pretty basic lesson here. So let's start from here in the question, where would you like to travel? So you would be asking a person what location, what country, what city that they would like to travel to. Now, you can simply answer this question with "I'd like to travel to." Now, I can say that this can be optional, and you can just say the travel destination. But just remember, with one-word responses, it will. So let's say I ask you the question, "Where would you like to travel?" New York. So it's kind of a short answer, so the person may think you don't want to talk anymore. So it's better just to answer in a complete sentence with this question. So where would you like to travel? I'd like to travel to, what did we say? New New York. I'd like to travel to New York. Um, Now another variation of this that you can say is you can also say I'd like to go to New York. I'd like to go to New York. Um, Travel and go. So these are actions. So it's like you're moving towards something. So that's why we're using the preposition to here. Now you can also say, I'd like to visit New York, but you will not use to after visit because when you think visit, it's just kind of like you're staying in one place, you're not moving anywhere. So that's why we're not using to after visit. Then of course, there's many other travel destinations. I'd like to travel to Paris. I'd like to travel to London. I'd like to travel to Seoul. I'd like to travel to Hong Kong. So you can just put in your travel destination with this sentence pattern. Now, the next question is why? And then the travel destination, which we have here, is New York. So we're asking the reason, why New York? Why do you want to go to New York? Why do you want to travel to New York? So you can just answer this question by giving your reason. I'd like to see, and then you can give a tourist attraction. So in New York, we have the Statue of Liberty. It's a very popular tourist attraction. So I want to start with the definite article, the, and then Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty. I'd like to see the Statue of Liberty. We're using the because the is usually going to come before any kind of tourist attraction that has a common noun in it, such as statue. So statue would be a common noun. Now, let's say we're going to London. I'd like to travel to London. Why London? I'd like to see Big Ben. I'd like to see Big Ben. So this is just kind of my opinion here. It's sort of there's no common noun here, so that's why we don't have the before Big Ben. We've got an adjective and we got a proper noun with Ben. Whereas with the Statue of Liberty, we got statue as a common noun. So those can be a little tricky, but we're going to go ahead and start on the next section of the lesson. Hey everyone, this is going to be the second section of our lesson. So we're going to continue our conversation with the question, are there any other places you'd like to visit? So we're just asking if if there's an additional place or additional places that you would like to visit, besides New York or Paris, whatever you answered in the first question. So are there any other places you'd like to visit? So we can just start with one answer. Yes, I'd also. So we're using also because we are expressing an addition. I'd also like to visit, I let's say Paris. I'd also like to visit Paris. And you can end your sentence there, or you can lengthen the sentence by putting and. I'd like to visit Paris and let's say Paris and Seoul. Are there any other places you'd like to visit? Yes, I'd also like to visit Paris and Seoul. If there are more travel destinations, you can say I'd like to travel to, or I'd like to visit Paris, Seoul, and China. So you can make the answer as long as you want, just using the conjunction and. And if there aren't really any other places you'd like to visit, maybe there's just one place you want to visit, you can say, no, not really. No, no, I only want to travel to New York. Another question you can have that's related to travel is, do you have any plans to travel this year? So the person would be asking you, what are your plans this year? Do you want to travel this year? Or do you have any plans to travel within this year? And if you do, you can say yes. And there's plenty of different ways that you can answer this question. So you can look in your talking tips or communication variations. But right here, we've just got written, yes, I'm planning to travel to. Um, so as I said, there's a lot of different variations. You can say, yes, plan on I plan on traveling to then your travel destination this year, or yeah, or if there you can also put different degrees of probability. So you can say I might travel to travel destination this year. So we do go over this, and the talking tips and the communication variations has different sentence structures that you can use. But let's go ahead. I beat a dead horse enough. So yes, I'm planning to travel to, let's just say London. I'm planning to travel to London this year. So you want to travel to New York. There's other places you'd like to visit. This year, though, you are going to London. So that is your plan to go to London this year. So yes, I'm planning to travel to London this year. Yes, I'm planning to travel to Seoul this year. Yes, I'm planning to travel to New York this year. So you can answer the question in a variety of different ways. Just put your travel destination in and you can say the sentence. Um, then, of course, if you do not have plans, you can say, no, not this year. Not this year. And you can add maybe next year. So there is a probability that next year you will go traveling. So that is going to conclude this lesson on somewhere to travel. Thank you very much for following along, and I will see you in the lesson wrap up.